Hello, everybody. It is that time of the week. It is your illustrious host, as Dragon's Fury, and that weirdo over there, because his face got stuck, is Infernal.
You. Hi, everyone.
um, we
I
hope you
can't
had a
help
good
my
time.
face decides to break on itself.
Yeah, I think that directly is your fault.
Me.
Me. Anyways, we're glad you're here listening with us, watching, what have you. We hope you're having a good week, and if not, we hope the episode helps, and if it doesn't, not our fault. So I came across a very good question on the TikToks,
I think
and it is going to start a new series. We're gonna do it's series time, 2026. Where we really getting this content going, right? So we're gonna do a mini. It's not gonna be as well. Most of our series are only like 3 episodes long, so we'll see how long this one goes.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes four
sometimes
if
4.
there's a lot to talk about.
So it's going to be anime dissection, right? So
That's an interesting
pretty
topic.
pretty popular anime that we both have watched, obviously, because we got to get you talking. And it's going to be questions that kind of give almost what if style feel slash just like understanding, just kind of like to get like a deeper thought on like certain anime. So what starts all this is for Naruto. The question is, of the three, obviously, once I list, you'll know who already is involved with this. But of these three, who would you have wanted to die? Obviously, you
Oh,
can,
okay.
right? So the three that was up for discussion was Neji, Choji, or Rock Lee.
Okay, so I'm assuming in this case it's referring to the Sasuke retrieval arc.
Exactly. Um, and so obviously
I'm sure there wasn't.
they had their discussion about it, and the discussion that they had, I'm very much on board with what they had said, and it was very eye opening to the point where I was just like, that's actually a good point of what they were making of why they picked who they picked. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I pose the same question to you, and you can be keep it as Neji
Mm-hmm.
being the one who dies and reasons behind it, or who if you pick Choji or Rock Lee. So who's your guy?
I mean, out of the three, Neji did definitely had the most impact. Um, Also, my brain's like focusing on the Sasuke retrieval arcs. It's like, what? They died back then.
I mean, we can get to that
Uh,
point of like how the person who you choose changes the flow of the story.
can we comment how Neji has almost died and died to pointy things hitting him?
I love how we made the same face.
Oh, Jesus.
I want that to go on record that I am happy that we made the same face. Oh my god. So
But
yeah. The answer is no if you didn't get the get the context.
oh, Jesus. But so it's like, all right, what was going again?
So of Jesus. So of the three, Choji, Rock Lee,
Uh,
or Neji, who do you pick of being the one who should have died? Do we agree that it should have still have been Neji, that being the choice? Do you believe it should have been Rock Lee? Do you believe it should have been Choji? Reasoning and whatever to follow.
okay. So, where Neji died, like, it made sense, I guess, kind of. And also had more of an impact on the people around him. So, I do feel like that death was a good one, I suppose. Well, obviously, no death is good, but you know what I mean. Not gonna lie, I feel like Choji got lucky at times.
Okay.
He got pretty lucky, especially after he used the what was it, the red pill back there in the Sasuke arc.
Yeah, one of them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
Don't ask
hey,
me to
take this,
color
you might die.
nothing.
Right. But and it's like Lee, I don't know. Like I'm trying to think like where would be an area where he really came close to death.
Well, it's
Minus,
less of coming close to death. It's just his impact of dying
yeah.
would
Okay,
be.
that all right. That's what we're getting. Okay. Yeah, no, like I think I'd still stick with Neji. I feel like his death had a lot more impact.
Um, so I will give you the synopsis of the where I got this from, and then my
Yes.
obviously I have one for like everybody, obviously. So a lot of what I enjoyed about what they were discussing is so they picked Rock Lee. And
Really?
so the one who answered picked Rock Lee. And the other ones were like, okay, why? Right? So
Yeah.
what he was explaining is that everything that we enjoyed of Rock Lee pretty much peaked to the point of him fighting Kimimaro, right?
True.
Like it's the hard work, the trainings, whatever. The peak of that, which was shown in the anime, because it's sticking strictly to the anime of what is shown. I am well aware, and any true fans are aware that the manga is drastically different, and how we feel about characters would be drastically different if it matched.
Yeah.
So the what we were presented with Rock Lee, that was it. Like nothing fantastical or like meaningful in this guy's eyes happened after that fact. Like he kind of got sidelined, right?
To be fair,
And
a lot of characters got sidelined.
right, but so he was like, because of that, he was like, okay, it was Rock Lee, and then his main thing for discussion was sorry that I can't remember their names because it was just like a scroll by or whatever. But his main thing
Yeah.
was that what Neji was trying to accomplish was significant enough that it could keep going and like striving for, and that it would have taken more time to succeed in, being that he was fundamentally trying to break the slave cycle of his clan, right?
Yeah.
And so that would have needed more time, that would need more development. Like you would have seen him develop in both aspects of being like as a ninja physically, and then like emotionally, and especially dealing with like Hinata, because
Yeah.
basically up to that point is when, like, right at the end is when he decides he wants to kind of get a fucking clue, and is being like, hey, Hinata is not necessarily the problem, it was me projecting, right? It was just like, it was very much of the, if I'm going to have to deal with the rules and regulations of this system of the clan, I want the person that I basically have to serve for all intents and purposes to be worthy of my service, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was very much a projection of himself. He's like, I need to be good enough to serve the main branch people, so the
So
main
they can
branch
be
needs to
just as
be
good.
better, actually, to like, because he's beaten her within an inch of her life out of just this sheer
Yeah.
thing of like, you need to be better than what you are now because of your
Yeah. No,
responsibilities and your
he
role.
was ready to like kill her during the tuning exam.
Oh yeah. So in like the tuning exams, their practices, just like the visual glaring, like he wanted her to be what she wasn't so bad that he pretty much almost forfeited his own wants of like being against the system. And so that would have been a very interesting thing. And the other thing that he brought up was that um might guys almost death would have made more sense.
Yeah.
So if Rock Lee went out, if Rock Lee was taken out, then that would have put Guy in a different state of mind, and then his relationship with Kakashi could have probably either gone one way or the other, where it would be less of this kind of like jovial rivalry of Guy being like the beacon of hope that Kakashi needs when, you know, everything's going to fucking shit, versus I'm still going to be your beacon of hope, but I'm in it with you, right? Like, instead of me being the hand to pull you out because it's like, oh, I'm never going to let it get me down, it's more of
we going forward,
right? Like, we're moving forward because I'm beside you, helping you move forward, right? And I think that kind of relationship would have been a very interesting thing to explore as well. And then by the time we get to that final part, it would make more sense that Guy is pretty much at that point of like, this is what Rock Lee could have been. Like, this is what the end goal should have been. Like, it should have been him at this point giving it his all for the, you know, the sake of blah, blah, blah. And now Might basically saying, like, this is the last that I have to give because, you know, he's lost his main, you know, his main student or whatever. Obviously, like, he would still have Tintin and Neji, but Rock Lee was like him, right? That was his
like,
his soul, essentially.
Rock Lee was basically Guy's son for the most part.
Well, Guy's son, but like it was Guy version 2. It was It was the alternate version of Guy without the, you know, the kind of like the missing support, right? Mm-hmm. Not to say Guy didn't have it coming up, because it's like, you know, he had Kakashi, he had his dad, and like, for, you know, a lesser extent, Kakashi's dad as well.
But I would say a more active support.
Right. And so it's very much of it was like, okay, this is the version of myself that could have been and would be better if I had what I needed when I needed it, right? Mm. And so, you know, the story, and so I was like, okay. I was like, and they all agreed that I was like, yes, that is a very strong point. That, and someone mentioned, it was like, oh well, like, at what point would you want him to have died? And it would have just, and basically it would have been when he was fighting Kimamaru, and just before Gaara shows up, it's like a second too late. Like, Gaara shows up just as Rock Lee's life is taken, right? So now you have I witnessed him, you know, him dying in front of me, and that effect, and that could have happened on Gaara too, because let's be real, the only reason why Gaara was there in the first place was because of Naruto. So now you have that extra layer of kind of like relationship building between like Gaara and Naruto, because now Gaara unfortunately has a different perspective to bond with him, you know, because it's Naruto. Everyone's just trauma bonding. No one's really bonding over anything good. Like,
trauma over here, trauma over there, trauma everywhere.
Like, the whole thing is just it's just one giant trauma bond. So
Naruto, get your trauma.
Yeah. So now you have Naruto and Gaara with a deeper, possible volatile relationship too, because it's like, now what happens when the guy you just did all this work to bring back and support and blah 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 doesn't make it in time, right? Yeah. Does Naruto blame him? Does Gaara blame himself? Like, you have all of this like possible, you know, emotional turmoil.
There will be a lot of turmoil for a while. I can see that.
And that would definitely change the story drastically. Then we have Choji.
Yeah, I'm curious about this one.
So with Choji, I think now I don't know where because like I can't fully remember where Choji was during this whole bit, um, but just for discussion reasons, so wherever a pertinent point in that arc Choji goes down, I think it would have caused the story to take a therapy style route, right? So
We talking about Shikamaru here.
well, yes and no. So obviously his relationship with his team was a lot different than a lot of the relationships with the other team, right? It was very much the baby brother sibling thing, right? And that's because of their parents, right? So they have the inherited expectation of being the next generation of this mid-level fame formation, right? And now,
Inoshikacho, I think.
yeah, Inoshikacho, formation, right? So
Yeah.
that was kind of like a big underlying thing, was them as the three of them kind of like coming together, not necessarily by choice on two fronts, because it was like obviously we already know that a lot of the teams were developed with some kind of biased or ulterior motive, right? Like Team 7 is all relatively for the most part the prodigies, right? We already know that we got hoed with Sakura of how she was presented in the anime.
They did her so bad.
They did her so dirty, but she still comparatively is the prodigy for Tsunade, right? So it's, hey, here comes the next Konoichi who is going to be on the level, if not surpasses the level of Tsunade, right? And then here we have the before we even get to the whole, descendants of God thing with Sasuke and Naruto, you have hey, here is the descendant of two stupid power lines, like bloodlines, right?
Yep.
You have the Uzumakis and whatever the fuck.
What was Minato's family? Namaki? No.
I think it's something with an N.
It is an N. I know that. That's bothering me.
Yeah. Hit the Googles.
Yep. Nope. Google. I need you.
It would help if I could spell. Namikaze. So that was right.
Oh, wow.
I
didn't Google you. I just guessed.
And
but yeah, no, it's like literally. I mean, yes, at that point, Naruto didn't really have much under his belt, but yeah, no, he's literally the child of those two, and then you have Sasuke, who's the last Uchiha. Well, air quotes, last Uchiha.
Right, but it less of it being the last Uchiha. He's still he's one of like the top, right? So it's like,
I mean, he's literally like the class rep for the most part.
It was like, we don't have the proof, but I think subvertively, I think Itachi, their dad, blah blah blah, I think they are the closest line of Uchiha to Madara. Because
what kind of makes sense, since Sasuke's eyes were basically the same as his.
Is that because there's only one other like big name that comes out, and it's Shusui, and so I'm not saying there wasn't other big names, Uchihas that were powerful and like reputable, whatever. It just seems like obviously what we are presented are these ones. It's Itachi and Shisui. These are the two who are getting stuff done at such a young age and are so potent and problematic that it's like, oh, hey, you need to be placed in in kind of like a supervisory role, that it's like we're still can use you to benefit us, but at the same time we can still keep tabs on you. There was a lot of manipulation going on, but we already knew that, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's literally all the village is.
That's all it is. It's just one giant manipudip, right? So you have those three over there, and then you have, you know, the Ino Shikacho like setup. You have Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji, and outside of their fathers and clans being like, you know, for whatever reason they came together to be, you know, in this realm of like synergy. That's the word I'm looking for.
There you go.
That was that was forced upon them, right? It was very much like everybody else. Like there, whatever your parents did, either you had to do the same or be better at, right? And so if you took Choji out of that,
no pressure.
right? What does that then look like for that section of like teams being built, right? Because I'm not to diminish Choji's like arc and development. It's just that comparatively with him, Shikamaru, and Ino, Choji was the weakest one of the three. And he took the longest to get to his peak of where it is, right? Shikamaru was basically there the whole time. Like, what he needed was the mentality to be like, okay, what I am capable of is worth it to putting the effort. Like, that was his main hang-up, right? Ino's...
Yeah, since nothing was a challenge to him, like, he never put the effort in.
Right. And so Ino's hang-up is that she's very much of the bandwagon of, I want to be pampered and taken care of. I don't want to be strong because that is the point of everyone else. Like, she was very much trying to be a housewife, right? But
yeah,
she has the unfortunate, you know, complex of, I'm my dad's favorite son, right? As the daughter. Because he didn't have a son, it would have normally been like, okay, you're the one who takes over the, you know, the mantle of the next, of like the title of what the clan is. It typically goes to the sons, right? And the daughters are is just like, okay, yeah, you need to know how to protect yourself, but that responsibility is not on you. So she was very much on the bandwagon of like, I shouldn't have to be doing this because I'm the girl, right? I'm the girl. I should be the one being taken care of, whatever. But, you know, I'm my dad's favorite son. So now she has to come into her own of being, in her mind, worthy of her father, which thankfully her father figured that shit out way earlier, that he was like, my bad. Like, I really kind of put some serious like pressure on you and made an effort very early on to support her and encourage her, being that as like, hey, do what you want to do. Like, do this because you want to do this. Become stronger and become more fluent in this jutsu because you want to. You want to master this, not because you have to for my sake, right?
Which is a good father.
Yeah, it was great. Like, all three of them were. It was great. That with Choji gone, Choji's kind of like that was the vestige of, we can take our time to learn our lesson, right? Because Choji was very happy and just like, he's like, why worry about all these things? We already took care of this. This is done. Like, let's get some snacks. Like, we did what we needed to do. Let's go enjoy ourselves, right? Now that's gone, right? That time to decompress and analyze what's going on is gone. Now you just have the pressures. I think Ino would have cracked. I think Ino would have stopped being a Konoichi entirely. I think she would not have been able to handle the loss of him, and I think that team would have just fallen apart entirely, because Shikamaru literally would have been like, there is literally nothing else to even, there is nothing worth a damn now for me to continue along this path as, you know, as a ninja of the leaf. Like, he would have done something in the sake of it because it's like, it's duty and whatever, but it's very much the I'm here because I have to be, not because I want to be. And I'm only going to put in enough effort to get the job done so that you don't fire me.
And for all those that are in the working class, we can relate.
we can relate, yes. And so so that's how I believe that would play out with Choji. Um, so those are like three. I think all three of them would have a very impactful thing, but I feel like
They would all have a very interesting impact on the story.
but if you don't, I feel like if you don't kill Neji, nothing changes. Like the
Yeah.
the people who were upset, it didn't drastically change the path of that person, right? Like obviously Hinata's upset. Obviously Naruto's upset. Obviously his teammates are upset. But everyone for the
The
most
story
part
still played out.
pretty much just kept going. Like his passing wasn't so detrimental to anybody, which I feel like is a bit of a misnomer in and of itself. Somebody should have cracked from that. And yeah.
It's like I understand like it happened during the war, but it's just like come on, like someone has to be feeling it afterwards.
I do think that there wasn't enough, like, and this isn't anyone's necessary like fault in on the content side. It's very much the viewer's problem, and it's that people will not accept other stories to enhance the main one. Like the hatred for filler is so unwarranted. It's ridiculous. Like it really shows almost a lack of critical thinking and understanding, and it kind of bothers me because there is very few filler across all of the anime that I have watched that has filler in it that I thought, well, this served no purpose. Very few, right? Like, and I'm talking like episodes could be counted on your two hands, right? That it didn't serve a purpose. The hang up seems to be that people will not separate the manga from the anime, which I get. Yes, if it's supposed to match, it's supposed to match. It is what it is. But at a point, you just need to accept the fact that if it doesn't, it doesn't. And that if you have the manga knowledge, leave it the fuck there. It like
there will be some differences between the two mediums.
it's
I mean,
like
hell, like there's some anime that have come out recently that I found out that it's like because obviously like you have oh my god, like, so much stuck in my throat. But it's like because obviously we have three main mediums when it comes to like the cultures. You have anime, manga, and then light novels. And I found out like some of the anime that I've watched recently, like I saw some people complaining, and it's like, guys, this isn't following the manga. This is following the light novel. I'm just like, oh, okay. So it's like, there's like you gotta take that stuff into account as well.
right, but it's almost like
Down my throat.
it's almost like it's like, hey, I did a study guide, right? Like here's all the information, blah blah blah. I did a study guide, right? And then you take that study guide and then you go take that class again with like a different teacher. Yes, the information's the same.
Wasn't on the test.
Right? It was like, yes, the information's the same, but how it was divvied out, like with the new teacher, is different. So you can't use one teacher's, explanation for the other necessarily, because then you're going to have like there's certain bits of conflict. And
Yeah. You gotta see each one as its own individual art medium and enjoy it for what it is.
Exactly. And like you can make the comparisons, which is fine because that's what allows a discussion of discourse to arise. But when you start to let it affect your viewing and your understanding of what's presented to you, then I got a problem, because now you're just doing stupid people things. Like,
Yeah.
like, and
Like like for me, like the only time that's really happened, at least as of late, was when it came to soul leveling season 2. Because like obviously they had to like modify the story a bit for the Jeju Island arc, which I personally was the biggest fan of. But I mean, that's just me.
I
Still enjoy the series.
I think my benefit of not reading the print version of anything anymore allows me to not be, swayed by the things. Like,
Yeah, like
bringing up
you don't have
solo
to worry about
leveling,
comparing things.
prime example. And I also have the benefit of my educational knowledge and, like, my
Hmm.
professional learning, if you will, is in the concept of storytelling. And so the prime thing that, like, I like to come up with, like, season 2 for solo leveling is the whole change between the healer being, soul extracted, right?
Oh, okay.
So the original being, it was like, what, the third, it was about to fail when he finally gets him.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay. And I'm glad that they changed it, right? Because I think the feeling of it almost failing, like reading that of it almost failing, that suspense translates better in the print, because you only have the key frames of what's happening. So you personally have to fill in the feeling, right? Like, that comes off of your experiences, your understanding of emotions as a person and whatnot.
Hmm.
So the baseline of that would just kind of be like like, it's the suspense of, like, oh God, like, is this the end, right? Because if you don't get the healer to respond, that's another person dead, right? We've
Yeah.
already lost so much. Like, that's another person
Like
down,
just adding more to a tensible situation.
right? That's a
Tensive
tense
situation.
situation, right? But when you brought it over to the anime, we got all of the suspense and the emotion up to that. We got that for, like, there was no need to imagine what that's like, right? There's not the held breath. It's the, oh, we've already saw everyone just get packed up, right? We've
Yeah.
we've seen the fight of the fight and being like, hey, we managed to get out of it long enough to deal with this, right? That emotion's already high, right? You already have the high adrenaline. We already got that satisfactory moment, right?
Mm.
But when you put in what they put in, being that it was like, hey, he was the I wish I could remember. I'm so bad with names. It's crazy. That
Oh, get in line.
the healer, he comes willingly. That he was like, hey, I know you can use my power, but you use yours to be able to use mine, right? Like, he gives us that voice line that he heard him call to him, being like, do
Yeah.
it, like, bring me back so that I can save her. And that when he does, it's an immediate thing. He doesn't have to order him. That it was just his will alone as a person is what allowed him to draw his shadow out to be able to save her. That goes way better with the emotional roller coaster that we're on, because we were just doing this all here.
Oh
we
yeah.
we hit here because, off screen, we hit here, and now we're coming down, and we're already still kind of like, it's a slow descent, because we're like, is she gonna make it? Is he going to be able to do this, right? I feel like if you put the it almost failed, it would have added unnecessary tension, because these guys are already on the brink, right? They're already
Yeah.
on the, oh fuck, like, we're two seconds away from having the craziest of meltdowns. I don't think
Some of
watching
them already
him
were.
watching him try to extract the shadow. Mind you, they don't know exactly what his power is still. They've just witnessed this fuckery. So they've just, until he pulls the shadow out, that's them realizing, oh, you can add to your army.
He's a necromancer.
Right? He's a necromancer. So here's me, big fight. I'm all shit's out of whack. Motherfucker's just looking at the body, saying words, right? Like saying arise, right? And then just, you know, the pauses in between, the notifications of the failure, whatever emotion comes out of Jin, if any, because, you know, he's an asshole. It's not his fault. It's just he is. It's just a point of fact. Jin's an asshole. Which makes it worse is that he's not an intentional asshole. That's what makes it worse. He's not doing it on purpose. It's just the fact of what he does and
how it comes across,
and doing how he conducts himself. He's an asshole. Which again, I rather it been a purposeful. Like I rather it's just been like his personality is so shitty after what happened to him. He's an asshole, not a wow. You're so fucking stupid and one-track minded that you're an asshole. Like it's worse.
Yeah.
That like now I'm looking at him and now I have like this extra anxiety of, you know, what the fuck are you doing? Then it doesn't work. And now if it doesn't work, he's dead, she's dead. What the fuck were you even trying to do? He's already not very forthcoming with the information. So I feel like it would have just added unnecessary tension if they kept it the way that they did in print.
Like, why did you bring my friend's body over here?
Like it was, yeah. So it's like, what the fuck all are you doing? And especially if ultimately nothing came of it. So certain changes, yes. Bad changes, Naruto.
Yeah.
We've been bamboozled to a level that is ridiculous. It is what it is. Do I think it would have changed anything? No. I just think the hate would have come down a little. Because otherwise, outside of the, you know, she's not a prick, personalities-wise, she's still depicted to be a useless piece of shit. So we're still going to hate her for that. She just won't be a shitty person. She'll just be shit at her job. Like... So there's that. Yeah. So Bleach is next episode. So you can have
that's gonna be interesting.
So you can have that in the brain. You know, it's a new year. I want to give you heads ups. I will try my best because sometimes I forget, and as most people know, and for the new people, none of this is scripted. I do not plan any of this out. All this is off rip. All of the things you see is what happens.
Majority of the time, I learn about it at the same time you do.
Yes, it's happening as it is, and that is just our shtick. So, final words, sir. Got it. As I say on every ending video, we thank you for your support up to this point. We thank you, everybody who has been with us up to this point. We thank you for all the new people, because I've been picking up some new people as I do streams more. So thank you for supporting me on that front and the podcast here. And until the next time, we love you. Stay hydrated. Infernal might break, but I'll fix them by next week.
See you next time.